Oh, you can't believe there are a lot of people that had them back in the day, but
Oh yeah, no, Starberries were not bad. They weren't bad.
hmm,
I think it came around the time with the Nike Shocks. I think and that was the thing. The one with the springs.
oh, those Nike shocks were
Starburst. What
terrific.
is Starburst?
So
Yeah, make
we
you feel
are
like
now
you can.
live. You guys ready to rock?
All
Let's
right, here
do
we
this
go.
thing. I'm
Let's
Michael Cerroti. I'm joined by Aaron Sanders and Paulo Del Rosario. It's the gold medal game, and we got three hosts for this FIBA chat party. Guys, USA and France, a highly anticipated game. We already have more than 2,000 live viewers. This watch along will have live stats, live commentary, and we want to hear all your thoughts in the chat. Aaron, I'll start with you. France and USA. Will the host nation get it done, or will USA take home a fifth straight gold medal here today?
Well, this is going to be a close game to call and to see, especially with the dominance of Victor Wembanyama, a double-double machine with near 14 points and 10 rebounds a game. He's been taking care of business in the low post and in the mid-range as well. But when it comes to Team USA, you think about two players that have been catapulting USA to a close gold medal: LeBron James, who is part of the MVP ladder, one of the top two, and Steph Curry, who had an incredible performance with near 40 points in that semifinals victory against Serbia. So it's going to be too close to call, but I expect a good game from the mid-range game out of these two squads today.
So let's get a look at the starting lineups. First for France, it's Frank Ntilikina, Nicolas Batum, Gershon Yabusele, Isaiah Cordonier, and like you said, Victor Wembanyama. And on the other side for Steve Kerr's USA squad, Steph Curry, LeBron James, Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, and Devin Booker. Paolo, who are you most excited to see in this matchup?
Well, who are you not excited to see? Because all of the names that you got here, they're obviously going to be those types of guys who could change the ball game. One guy could get hot in Team USA and could really change the entire narrative on the French side. I mean, everyone's going to be looking at Victor Wembanyama, but then you had guys like Mathis Lessort from the bench in the last one, to make it in the finals for the first place, actually having a great game. You have other guys who can provide as well. It's right now for France, it's a chance for them to find a new hero, just in case they can do it in front of a home crowd. Team USA is so used to winning gold medals in the Olympics, but going up against a raucous crowd with some legitimate NBA talent on their French roster, you never know what could happen here. They are heavy favorites, don't get me wrong. I'm talking about Team USA. No, anyone who tells you otherwise is delusional. Team USA are big favorites, but then France with an upset potential, you never know. You can never tell.
LeBron James has just tossed the chalk in the air. USA has never played a gold medal game in front of an away crowd. And, well, like you said, Paolo, they will have to deal with some crazy fans today. We are underway. USA in their dark blue jerseys going right to left, France in white going left to right. Guys, let's play some basketball.
Showtime.
A three
I mean,
from
like you
Kevin
take a look
Durant
at
is
these two
off the mark.
teams. Yeah, you take a look at
Go ahead,
these two
Paolo.
teams here, and you have to take a look at the fact that if you're France, you have to find a way to limit the scoring here of Team USA. If it becomes a high-scoring ball game, the French may not have the amount of firepower that the USA have. If it turns into a shootout, just take a look what Steph Curry did the last time. As you mentioned a while ago, 36 points in their last game. It was the top scoring game of any player in the Olympics this particular cycle. So you got to be careful for that. If you're the French, you got to slow them down. But the question is, how do they do that?
So Devin Booker just drilled a three, as did Victor Wembanyama after LeBron opened the scoring with a two-handed jam. So it's an early lead for USA, but not for long. Nicolas Batum with a follow-up slam. We're tied 5-5. Guys, we'll get into it a lot more later, the MVP race, but LeBron James right at the top of that. Aaron, he's been impressive so far in these Olympics.
And who would have thought it would take him 22 years to finally shine up in the Olympic Games? He's not only a great scorer, as we have seen over the years, but he is a great passer. He can also create plays. He's one of the best players when it comes to assists per game in these games with 8 per game, Michael. So he could do it all, and that's the best thing about basketball. If you could be a two-way player, and especially on the offensive end, you're going to be in for a good game as Victor Wembanyama is able to spin right in and go for an easy layup off the glass.
So for everyone in the chat asking for the live stream, unfortunately, we don't have the rights, but you can head to the description. There's a link with all the info for how to watch from wherever you are in the world. Victor Wembanyama puts France up by 2. He just missed a 3, but you talk about a do-it-all player. Victor Wembanyama at 7'3", Paolo, he's exactly that.
Yeah, the thing with him is that he's still really young. We are seeing probably phase 1 in his metamorphosis into what he's going to be in the future. I mean, like, imagine if he were a butterfly. He is now still a caterpillar. He has yet to get in that pod and has yet to really get into what he is going to be. I mean, the tools are there. What's most exciting about him is the potential that he does have. You take a look at what Victor Wembanyama is to this French team. He is basically what LeBron is to the Team USA. He leads the team in points. He leads the team in rebounds. He leads the team in assists. The only thing that he needs to work on, particularly going into this game, is his efficiency. 37.5% from the field. He is not an efficient scorer in this Olympic Games. If he becomes efficient just for this one game, that could be one of the biggest differences in this gold medal matchup.
LeBron James with a rejection off the glass, and Kevin Durant hits a 3 to put USA on top 8-7. Aaron, you talked a little bit about Kevin Durant, but after his first game where he had 21 points in the first half alone, he's kind of slowed down a little, but still, he's one of the best all time for Team USA.
That's right. He's able to stretch the floor, and even though his points per game went down a little bit after that first game, it seems like the play works around him as USA brings it up the floor with Steph Curry dishing it into Devin Booker. But again, when it comes to Kevin Durant, Michael, and Paolo, if he's in trouble, there are other bigs that could help out too. And when you have a player that could create players like Steph Curry did with Devin Booker, you're not going to be in trouble for a long time. I mean, these are all-stars in the international stage for a reason, as there's a nice jam from Gershon Yabusele. But man alive, there's a reason why they're in the Olympic Games, gentlemen, and we are seeing all of that showcased in the first few minutes of the game.
Gershon Yabusele, you just said his name as Wembanyama throws one down. He played in the NBA from 2017 to 2019, but now he's playing with Real Madrid. Paolo, Yabusele has been nothing short of incredible for France.
Yeah, you take a look at what Yabusele has done. He may not necessarily be in the radar of most NBA fans at the moment, but the fact of the matter is he is an NBA caliber player. The fact that he was there, the fact that he is showing up for France right now, just shows that sometimes you just got to be in the right spot to be able to shine. So Yabusele doing what he does best here for this French national team, and doing it in a very timely place. The Olympics at home in France. Let's see if he could make a bigger difference here in the gold medal matchup, because right now, this French team is showing everyone that they're no pushovers.
Again, unfortunately, we will not be showing the game live, but a link in the description has all the information for how you can do that in your location. But a great game so far, and Yabusele is a prime example of just how incredible international basketball can be for getting lower reputation guys on the big stage. Yabusele and Isaiah Cordonier have been two examples of that for France, as USA up by a point. But Aaron, just talk about that a little bit. Getting those guys with less of that superstar name on the big stage in the Olympics.
Well, we have seen it time and time again in these games where we have somebody with a name that a lot of people haven't heard about, but they step up. They could be a Jeremy Lin of the Olympics, where you could have great consecutive games where you score about 20 or 30 points or a clutch bucket. But this is where you make a name of yourself. This is an international stage where everybody will get to see you. It's not all about the veterans. It could be about the rookies, or it could be that one player that was able to make it to not only training camp, but to the Olympic roster in, let's say, the last 3 days before the game starts. So it's all about presence, and it's all about surprise. And lo and behold, surprise, USA is up 12 to 11 with just about under 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. So we may see Yabusele probably save the day for France, or maybe we'll see some action from Bam Adebayo or Drew Holiday from Team USA. The possibilities are limitless when it comes to these players.
Paolo, we talked pregame about Rudy Gobert, an NBA superstar. He's playing 14 and a half minutes per game in these Olympics, but so far in bracket play, only 4.5 minutes per game. He has just checked into the game for France. What does he bring to the table, and what is the lack of his presence on the floor due to France?
Well, first of all, he is a, how do I say this? He's probably the most polarizing player in the NBA in terms of how much people like him. But at the same time, just taking a look at Rudy Gobert and what he does for France, obviously, there were combinations earlier on in the Olympics wherein he played alongside Victor Wembanyama, and it's interesting that they aren't playing them together here. They are. I don't think they're comfortable playing with both Wembanyama and Rudy Gobert with the type of athleticism that Team USA has. He obviously offers rim protection, but the fact of the matter is that when Wembanyama's on the floor, he actually plays the four role. So that means when you take a look at the wings here of Team USA, I think they understand that they cannot play Gobert and Wembanyama together, which is unfortunate because against Germany, when the two of them were on the floor, that second quarter against Germany, they only limited Germany to 8 points in that quarter. I don't know if that's going to be possible here, considering the athleticism of Team USA. And speaking of athleticism, Carl Anthony Towns is checked in. Carl Anthony Towns, sorry, Anthony Edwards, sorry, wrong Timberwolf, is in this ball game, and that's going to be interesting to see what they can do.
Well, Rudy Gobert, according to The Athletic, he said he had surgery on his finger, but head coach Vincent Collet said he had an MRI but no surgery, and he simply benched Rudy Gobert just to have more of a small ball lineup out there for France. It's still a 1 point lead for USA. Anthony Edwards, like you said, he just brings the fireworks everywhere he goes. Aaron done the exact same in the Olympics. A younger guy on this team. What does he bring for Team USA?
We're talking about what a lot of fans are saying the future of the NBA when it comes to Ant. I mean, this is a player that could score in bunches. When he gets right up in the mid post and he gets that pass, you don't know if he's going to spring right out of the corner for a three or take it to the basket. And that's why the Minnesota Timberwolves has been successful with him on the floor in the last year despite losing the Western Conference Finals. But not only is a playmaker, but he could be a slasher, and he could be detrimental to another team if you have to go mano a mano with him as the inbound goes into Anthony Davis.
Just a quick note here,
Yeah,
guys.
this
So
is
Jason Tatum's in the ball, by the way. So he just scored a dunk here. Obviously, he's made a lot of news because he does not play as much in this particular Olympic cycle. Steve Kerr has called it a math problem. The math isn't mathing because you have a guy like Jason Tatum, who obviously demands a lot of attention and is obviously very talented, obviously an NBA champion. But then in 10-minute international games with the 12 guys in the roster, he normally has to leave out two. Considering this, who do you think does he leave out? Talking about Steve Kerr, because he's probably still going with a 10-man rotation, and there's still a bunch of guys who have not played for Team USA. Michael?
well. I think it really does depend on what this score becomes because you have Drew Holiday, who's really a defensive guy. You'll have Tyrese Halliburton, who likely won't check into this game. Bam Adebayo still has on his warm up suit. So it really does depend the course of the game because if you need defensive guards, you have Drew Holiday. If you need more offense, you have Bam Adebayo as Rudy Gobert throws down a two-handed slam. But Paolo, I'll send this right back to you. You have so much talent on this floor. Jason Tatum scored over 15 points per game in the 2020 Olympics. He doesn't really play that much. Is Steve Kerr's team too good? Is it too much talent on the floor?
Here's the problem. You have a lot of talent on the floor, but you only have one ball on the floor as well. So what do you do with it? So obviously, it's about having the type of roles available in this group. You mentioned talk about defense. That's why Drew's there. You talk about a guy having White there, and that's also important because at the end of the day, you cannot have too many guys who need the ball to be effective all the time. And I think that in terms of teams being too good, I don't think you can ever be too good. You can be too loaded in terms of talent, and you can't spread the ball around. But I don't think that a team can be too good enough.
17-13 USA now. Anthony Edwards just hit a triple, and that forces a France timeout. So we'll get a quick look at the statistics for both teams. Victor Wembanyama for France has 7 points. Nobody else has scored more than 2. They are currently reviewing to see if that Anthony Edwards jumper was a 3 or a 2, so we'll keep you updated once the officials have the rule. For USA, Devin Booker is 3 of 3 from the field. He's leading the way with 7 points. LeBron has 2 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. And Durant has 3, but it has been a very even game so far for USA. Nobody really standing out, and it is confirmed it's a three-pointer, so the lead remains 4. Aaron, we've got 2 minutes left in the first quarter. What have you seen so far? It's a tight game.
Well, so far I've been seeing the USA really putting the clamps on France defensively, and that has led to a great fast break game for the US of A. We saw Anthony Edwards just finish with a long shot, but I'm seeing USA taking advantage in terms of speed, and France using the post and the paint to their advantage. We've seen Wimby being the high man for Les Bleus at the moment. So it's a tale of two games. France not picking up the speed, but USA is. But France, they also have the depth as Rudy Gobert checks back in to the lineup and they start with the ball. So I have to expect in the final 2 minutes, Michael and Paolo, for USA to play a full 90-foot floor game and for France to try to capitalize on the defensive end, because if they don't, then they're going to have a tough time. Turnover, USA has the ball.
It's funny
talk
because
about
Anthony
substitution.
Edwards. Sorry about that, but it's funny because Anthony Edwards' three-pointer was counted. I had the feeling if it were Kevin Durant, his feet would be too big. We've seen this in the past. The review breaking his heart. But yeah, no, just to piggyback on the point they made a while ago, I mean, like, we talk about putting clamps on defensively. I think even though Team USA is in the lead, we have to give credit to France as well, because how many teams could limit Team USA to only 17 points at the moment in a quarter? I mean, this could be a low-scoring game. I mentioned it a while ago, and that might be the biggest chance for France to actually pull off an upset. Upset if they keep the offensive efficiency of Team USA down low.
Under a minute to go in the first quarter, we just got a foul go against Jason Tatum. 17-15. USA leading France in the gold medal game. USA is 148-6 all time in the Olympics. Aaron, they're going for 5 straight gold medals, and this team is one of the best they've ever put together. What makes them so special?
It's just, if we say star talent, then that would be a little vague, right? You have the NBA's all-time leading scorer in LeBron, one of the best moving men when it comes to Durant, and they know how to play well together. They have the speed. It's one of the fastest I've seen since, let's say, the Redeem team back in '08. But again, to your credit to the record, 148-6. The last time they haven't won a gold was back in the 2004 Athens games, where they ended up in bronze as Ant continues to deliver the damage from three-point land. But they have the speed, but it's a matter of, can they score? Yes, they can. They're able to score in bunches, and we saw that from Steph Curry in the last game. So that's what makes them good as we are down to the final seconds of the first quarter.
Well, that actually is
Shot
the end of the
comes
first
up
quarter here.
short. Yep. Cordonier just missed a pull-up jumper from the elbow, and that does it for the first quarter. United States held to 20 points, and with the amount of talent they have, that's not that much, but a 5-point lead heading into the second quarter. Paolo, what do you think of the first 10 minutes? USA on top by 5, but France played well.
Yeah, France playing well, but then you can play well and not score enough, and you still end up losing. And the French do not want to end up doing that. You take a look at what Team USA have not done, and we have to take a look at the game stats for that. What they have not done well, particularly, is the fact that I don't think that they've gone into the line at all, considering the amount of athleticism that they do have. They do have the ability to try, and I just feel they're not scoring in enough possessions in general. 20 points in a 10-minute quarter. Considering all the offensive firepower that they have, maybe the French are doing something defensively that's bothering them. But at the moment, if you're France, you're wondering how can you generate more offense outside of Victor Wembanyama? And at the same time, if you're Team USA, how do we finally break free of this little hole that France has on us defensively?
Devin Booker with 7 points to lead Team USA. Anthony Edwards had six, all from beyond the arc. And for France, Victor Wembanyama had seven. Nobody else had more than 2 points. Aaron, who impressed you the most in the first quarter?
Well, again, Victor Wembanyama, he's been getting all those high-low passes for France, but for USA, Ant came alive in the final few minutes of the first. He's been able to get those shots down, but I hope he's able to spring right down to the rack in the next 10 minutes of action because I believe he could be the go-to guy for the second quarter just in case Steph Curry doesn't get a nice shot going or if Kevin Durant's unable to get to the basket himself.
All right, so quarter
Second
number two
quarter
has
is
just
underway.
begun.
Yep, hello. I was about
Absolutely.
to say, take it away.
Yeah, 20-15 right now, still in favor of Team USA. Again, to everyone watching us on the FIBA basketball YouTube page, thank you very much. International stream here, in the sense I think we have two guys from the United States and one guy from Asia calling this one, so I have no sleep whatsoever. But here we go, and we love it and we love it a lot. Aaron, I want to start off with you because you take a look at what France have not done, and that is the fact of the matter. Only one guy has scored more than one bucket for this group. They have other guys scoring here, but is there anyone in particular you feel should step up here to be the number two of Victor Wembanyama? Because that has been a bit of an issue here as Anthony Davis scores his first bucket here in the second quarter.
Well, I expect Gershon Yabusele to step up too. It looked like we were getting some flashes from him at the start of the game, but he's able to spread the floor and go for those close shots or the long shot too. So I expect Yabusele to be the two-man for Wembanyama. I don't expect much from Rudy Gobert because it's like what you guys mentioned. They're number 4 and number 5 on the floor, but Gobert hasn't fared well in these games so far. But Yabusele is the second best scorer for Les Bleus here in the whole game. So hopefully he's able to step up as he gets the ball underneath and the jam by Wembanyama.
Yeah, you take a look at the fact that Anthony Davis is starting to heat up here. He has 4 points now in the second quarter, 24-17. Michael, you take a look at Team USA and the fact that, all right, so there is a lot of talent here, but at what point do you feel that one guy has to start taking over as Gershon Yabusele finally hits a three-pointer to make it just a 4-point game?
Yabusele just followed up the Anthony Davis putback jam right on cue. I don't know if for USA anyone ever has to take over in this game. Obviously, someone had to in the semifinals against Serbia, and it became Steph Curry, who had 36 points. But with the way they're playing, and they're working around this France defense, I'm not sure anyone has to take over because they're getting the shots they want right now. Anthony Edwards has hit a couple of threes. Anthony Davis is getting looks down low. So if you're getting buckets in a bunch of different ways, then there's no need to just let one player take over.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you did mention it a while ago, they did need Steph Curry to take over against Serbia. I don't know if we're ever going to get to that level here, but then Matthew Straudsell is going to make them think about it because he just drained a big three here. Aaron, you take a look at what the pitfalls are for Team USA on the defensive end. I know we're all focusing on Victor Wembanyama offensively, but then is there anything that worries you on the defensive end for our Team USA against this French team?
The interior defense, for one, the way they cluster up around the paint as they expect Wembanyama, and as I say that, they're immediately in a 2-3 zone. Yes, they're spacing out, but they're not meeting their man once they go for the shot. What a big shot from Strauzel right on time, but they're not spacing out well, and they're not reacting as fast because, again, the attention will be on Wembanyama, but the player that runs off the ball is as important as the one that scores it because they could cause a distraction, and USA have to keep better mind of that.
Yeah, you know what? It is now a timeout for Team USA because Bilal Koulibaly hit a dunk, and all of a sudden, Team USA is down in the gold medal matchup, 25-24, 7-10 in the second quarter. And I just want to say hello to everyone watching us on the YouTube chat right now. And of course, you can join in. We have a little poll going on. Who do you think will win it? And upon my last check, it is definitely for Team USA. According to our polls, more than 10,000 people have already voted. 87% Team USA, 13% for France. It's either they're sensible or they know most of the people in Team USA, and that's why they're voting for them. But Michael, let's take a look at this run here by the French. What are you seeing here? Because Bilal Koulibaly, Matthew Stratzel, Gerson Yabusele, those are guys that most people are not familiar with. This is show you how dangerous this French team is, despite the fact that maybe most of the world is not familiar with this roster.
Yeah, well, before I get into the players, what I'm seeing right now is a bunch of rowdy fans helping France get out in front. This is the first time USA has ever played a gold medal game in front of a true away crowd, like I said at the top of the broadcast. So those fans are really going to help create runs and generate momentum. But as far as this team goes, Bilal Koulibaly, he's just 20 years old. In his rookie season with the Washington Wizards, he averaged over 8 points per game, but he scored less than 2 points per game at the Olympics. So he can obviously get it done against some of the best talent in the world in the NBA. He just hasn't gotten the chance on France because of the depth they have. Obviously, most of the world familiar with Victor Wembanyama, Rudy Gobert, but Gershon Yabusele, Isaiah Cordonier, Bilal Koulibaly now getting into the mix, showing off the depth that we thought Team USA had, but France giving them a little taste of their own medicine, and they have the lead.
Yeah, you know what? Let's take a look at some of the substitutions here from Steve Kerr because obviously they need to respond. They're going to respond with a ton of offense. Come in the lineup: Steph Curry, LeBron James, Bam Adebayo, Devin Booker, all coming in. And again, just some of the best scorers out there, obviously here for Team USA, and a turnover here for Team USA right after. Let's take a look at this, Aaron, because he mentioned a while ago, Michael mentioned a while ago that the home court advantage definitely in for France hasn't necessarily been a factor. Do you feel that it's going to be a factor in this game, considering that momentum, uh, just being at the venue could swing it France's way?
I'm sure it will, especially with France having the lead right now. I feel like every time they give the ball down to Wembanyama, the crowd is at a hush, and once the basket goes down, they get rowdy. And when Team USA works on the other end of the floor, it could become boisterous as times as LeBron misses the three. But home court advantage is very important, and like what both of you have said, this is the first true home advantage that France has had or anyone has had in the Olympics when it comes to Team USA. So it's going to be tough. So imagine you have to play defense on the other end of the floor and you have all the fans cheering for Les Bleus. They're preaching out Les Voix for Les Bleus.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna pretend I can pronounce some of those words. But let's take a look at this shooting percentage that we're having here for Team USA as Victor Wembanyama and LeBron James exchange 2 point baskets here. For Team USA, they are shooting 5 of 15 from beyond the arc. Steph Curry, in particular, 0 of 3. And, some of the usual suspects, well, he's the usual suspect, and as well as Kevin Durant, 1 of 5 from beyond the arc. Are you worried, Michael, if a guy like Steph Curry and Kevin Durant can't get their range here in this game? Because honestly, those are the shots that they're missing here, talking about Team USA.
Well, Devin Booker just hit a three-pointer to make it 29-27, and that's why I'm not worried for Team USA. Anthony Edwards has 6 points. He's made two threes. Devin Booker just hit one. He has 10. They just have so many players that can shoot the basketball. Even their big guys can shoot. Like, if they need, Joel Embiid can step out. He's not a great shooter, but he can get it done from beyond the arc when needed. So if Steph Curry can't heat up like he did against Serbia in the semifinals, which he clearly hasn't because he had 17 in the first quarter, but I'm really not worried about the shooting for USA because of the depth that I talked about before. They have so many players that can shoot the basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. But then, at the moment, as you did say, that Steph Curry finally hits a 3 pointer, his first of this game, and that could get him going here. We all know that he can score in bunches, now 1 of 4 from beyond the arc. Aaron, we talk about how Team USA, they have so much depth, they have so much talent, especially from shooting from beyond the arc, if ever anyone's worried about it. If you're France right now and you're starting to see the 3 point shots of Team USA go their way, how do you adapt to it, considering that two of their probably best defensive players are not guys who are known for defending the perimeter.
At the
As
end of
Bam
the day,
Adebayo gets a 2 and 5. Sorry, go ahead.
At the end of the day, I would just stick to man to man. When you have a hot player like Steph Curry, you know that's going to radiate off of all the other players on the team because they're going to have confidence. Hey, not only we could take care of business inside, but we could spread it right on the outside and start getting into the groove on those kind of shots. So you really have to have man-to-man defense as Bam Bam goes for the jam. But I just keep on with the man-to-man defense if I'm France. I mean, listen to this. You have the depth, you have the length as we see tempers flare a little bit. No stranger to seeing this gentleman because in the first couple of minutes, we saw Ntilikina, my mistake, have some words with Kevin Durant. So you know how high the tensions are when it comes to this game, not to mention home court advantage. But again, if I'm France, man-to-man defense, especially around the perimeter, because USA could heat up, and it takes more than one player to get things started from three-point land.
A legend of French basketball has made his appearance. Nando De Colo getting a pull-up jumper to go, but then LeBron James answering back with two, 36-31 in favor of Team USA. It will be an end-one opportunity as Mateus Lesort gets a foul on LeBron James. Once again, thank you for everyone joining us on the chat. Quick timeout here for the French before the free throws here for LeBron James. As we mentioned a while ago, we have a poll going up on top. This simple one. Who do you think will get this, Team USA or France? To those wondering where you can watch the live stream, you can check the video description below to see where you can watch it all over the world, wherever your local provider is. They'll have a link for you there just to point you in the right direction. We do not have the budget to buy the rights, as I am led to believe here on this YouTube channel, but they had the budget to hire us. So thank you so much for joining us here today. Let's take a look at Michael. Let's take a look at the fact that this French team, if things start to unravel here for them because they're finding their buckets in terms of Team USA, the scoring has gotten a bit quicker here in the second quarter. I'd say just a bit quicker because we're still under 40 points in the second quarter. Just how confident are you in this French team if Team USA get a rhythm that they can actually match their production offensively?
Well, I'm not confident at all. That's the simplest way I can put it. I think USA's depth has really been what has brought them to their 5-0 record and into this gold medal game. It's the second half when they really start to pile it on. I mean, they were down 17 points in the second quarter to Serbia in the semis, and they ended up having a fourth quarter comeback. Down 17, that's not easy to come back from against the best talent in the world. But USA has, I mean, all 12 players can play. They usually do go with 10, but all 12 can get it done. And that's when it gets scary for other teams because they can get out and run, and then once they go on a run and they get tired, they'll just sub out all five, and the next five can go on a run. So if USA can get in a rhythm, I don't think France will be able to keep up on the offensive end.
LeBron James sinks a free throw, the bonus free throw to make it 37-31. Just a recap of the numbers here. LeBron James with 7 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists so far. And is the leading scorer of Team USA is actually Devin Booker with 10 points in this. 4 of 5 from the field and perfect from beyond the arc. Steph Curry only with 3 points after hitting his lone three-pointer, making it 1 of 4. Of course, right now, if you have a Team USA getting to rhythm, as Michael mentioned, tough to stop them. And in terms of keeping up with them offensively, rather, in this one. But then, Aaron, let's focus here on what Team USA has been doing in the past few minutes because they were trailing by a bit here, but then it has changed. I wouldn't say dramatically, but you can start feeling the tide going the way of Team USA. Just what has changed, in your opinion, that has given them a 6-point lead?
Well, first of all, the rhythm has changed when it comes to a team scoring in bunches, and we're getting more leadership from LeBron. LeBron coming into his element. He had a couple of and ones over the last little bit, and you could see that the rest of Team USA is going off of his lead. I know there's no said captain for USA, but when LeBron steps on the floor, when it comes to him, out of all the years he has played basketball, he shows poise, he shows leadership, and that's really working out for USA at the moment. It's just the change of who's on the floor and how they're going to operate, and they have done just that. And they picked up the tempo, too.
Gershon Yabusele getting 3 free throws, courtesy of a foul come from Bam Adebayo. The closeout just too aggressive there, and Gershon Yabusele hit the ground. Got the 2 free throws to go, 33-37. Still in favor of Team USA with 3:03 left. Misses the third free throw, and LeBron James, the leading rebounder of Team USA, gets the defensive rebound. Michael, you said a while ago, offensively, France has a hard time staying we'll have a hard time keeping up with them productivity wise. But then you take a look at what we're seeing with them so far. Is this defense sustainable? Because whether or not you agree, the fact that USA have only 37 points, I think is impressive in terms of the defensive effort that France have shown. As Kevin Durant hits a 3-pointer to make it 40-33.
That's what I was talking about with the shooting, is really anyone can shoot the ball for Team USA. But, Paolo, you're absolutely right. It has been really impressive, the defense from France. Obviously, it's gotten a little tougher to guard USA in the last few minutes, but France is doing a nice job really slowing down USA. They have not gotten too many transition looks. They're getting their buckets by swinging the ball around and finding the open man, which it's to stop because all five players can score in so many different ways. But that's what I think France has done well defensively, is stop the transition looks. USA has not really gotten out for those easy fast break buckets, and you have to credit France's defense for that. And there is an and one jam. Yabusele.
Gershon Yabusele getting that end one to go, 35-40, just a 5-point game here. And if you notice, our reactions are a bit delayed because each of us are watching a different stream, and the timing is not exactly, well, in sync. But we're going to do our best here for you. Gershon Yabusele gets the bonus to go. Just a 4-point game here, 2 minutes 13 left here in the first half, and what has been an entertaining one here so far. Maybe a bit different. I don't know. You guys are more used to NBA basketball. You've seen the different rules that they have. The scoring is a bit more free flowing. Do you feel that this is a bit different, this grinded out style of international basketball for Team USA? We saw that a bit in Serbia. They did adapt to it in the third quarter, and in the second half in general. But Aaron, just this style of basketball, it feels like the American public is getting a bit more of an education of how it's played and how different it could be compared to NBA style of basketball.
And that's right. It's different because every 4 years we see something like this. Or if you watch the FIBA events, wink, wink, you see the change in rules. The NBA has different rules than what all the other countries are accustomed to, so they have to adapt to that in a small amount of time. But I think after the third group game and you go right into the tournament phase, as Steph Curry looks at his own bench and say, yeah, I got that triple. They earned it. It's hard to adapt to those rules with a short amount of time, but once you get into the tournament phase, you know how things are going. 10-minute quarters instead of 12-minute quarters, and then you have rules in regards to defense and the cylinder. But they have adjusted to that as Kevin Durant goes for the steal and finds Booker as he books it for two.
5-0 run here for Team USA after that end one opportunity from Gershon Yabusele was converted. Right now it is 45-36 here, with Team USA starting to get a bit of that rhythm we were talking about despite those plays coming for France. The scoring for France has been a bit sporadic. They haven't been scoring in back-to-back possessions, and Team USA actually have been doing a great job defending in transition. Sometimes we actually see LeBron James as the first guy defending the interior after turnovers or after missed buckets, and that has been a big factor here in this game, as Devin Booker will get the bonus off the foul from Evan Fournier. Michael, let's take a look at how Team USA would have to adapt going to the third quarter, because right now, a minute 20, it feels like they're getting a bit of rhythm. How do you think they would adapt in coming in quarter number 3 on the offensive end, knowing that they are going to go against a France team that will probably be a bit more well adapted on the defensive end?
Well, 5 different players have scored on the last 5 possessions for USA, and that has them out to this 10-point lead. So France obviously will adapt during the halftime break. And what USA will have to do is now run more set pieces, use a lot of screens, try to free up guys off the ball, look for those drive and kick 3-pointers. Devin Booker's shooting the ball well. He now has to go to the bench after picking up his second foul, but I think screening and more set pieces offensively they'll become more frequent in the second half for Team USA.
Gershon Yabusele will shoot 2 free throws here, trying to reduce his 10-point deficit. It's 46-36 in favor of Team USA, with 105 left here in the second quarter rather. And just for those wondering how this stream works, because we actually turned off the subscriber only chat on the side. It's the first time we're having it, and there are a lot of people talking right now, and that's the reason why we're not reading through everyone here. But at the same time, for those wondering, this is a second screen experience. The way that it works, we're going to have this screen on if you prefer our voices and our faces compared to the ones that you see on your home broadcast wherever you are around the world. Keep us on the side, put the game on the side, and let's have a great talk here as well on the chat. Aaron, take a look at France here, starting to unravel defensively. We talked about how USA have found a bit of rhythm, but then they're also getting their way here with regards to running the floor. The game's becoming a bit more fast-paced. We'll take a look at some of the key stats here. Team USA has 17 fast break points. If you're France, how do you slow that down?
Well, it's interesting because we've boasted about how good France's defense was in the first quarter, and now it's a reversal of fortune that they're slowing down defensively. And remember, Team USA is more set plays than the fast break, so I don't know why they're not doing well on the defensive end as Wembanyama gets the tip and to go. But you have to keep your feet moving and expect that each and every time that USA runs up the floor, they're going to kick out for that extra pass as they're becoming – a word I don't like using in the game of basketball, comfortable with this 7-point lead and as they're going to set plays. So they have to keep the feet moving defensively. And if they are met at the fast break off of a bad turnover, they got to have 2 or 3 players down right when that steal goes down in order to meet USA at the rack. Because 9 times out of 10, they're going to go to the bucket. And we have seen time and time again go to the free throw line. You want to avoid that at all costs.
Isaiah Codinier draws a foul of Drew Holiday, offensive foul of Drew Holiday, a chance here for France to come in a bit closer. There was a comment by Luka Doncic last year in the FIBA Basketball World Cup when he said that he found FIBA defenses a bit more difficult because typically other European nations are set defensively. A bit here, but as I say that, Drew Holiday hits a 3. Oh, I disappeared. I did not realize how long I disappeared. But yeah, Michael.
We're good now.
Yeah, Michael, you take a look at what Drew Holiday has done. He hit the 3 a while ago, spreading the lead back to 10 points here. Just defensively here, do you feel that Team USA, it's just a matter of adapting to the defenses that they see? It's a bit unique compared to what they see in the NBA. It's more of like how quickly they do adapt. And that's the reason why we see them improve as games typically go by here on the world stage.
Yeah, well, first I'd like to add Yabusele just beat the buzzer with an impossible reverse layup. So an 8-point USA lead heading into the halftime break. But like you said, the NBA defense is a lot easier. And like Luka Doncic said, the floor is a lot more open in NBA basketball. The court's a little bigger, so that also doesn't hurt, but the offensively the floor is a lot more open. Offenses space out a lot more in the NBA, and you get out and run a lot more. So USA does have to adapt, but now that they're in their 6th game in the Olympics, they really do know how these defenses like to guard them, and with the amount of weapons they have on the floor at all times, they haven't had any problems, and I don't think they'll start to have problems in the second half, but you never know what France will bring out of the locker room.
Yeah, again, these guys are playing it's a different mode, playing at home, and considering that it is for an Olympic gold medal against, and no one's expecting you to win. I think that's the thing. No one's expecting you to win. 49-41, USA in the lead at the halftime break. France trailing here, but then they are fighting. That was a high-scoring second quarter, 29-26 in favor of Team USA, but France definitely still in this with a shout out to those expecting a blowout. well, based on the first half, it looks like they might be wrong. But we saw what the Team USA did in the second half against Serbia, and we'll see what happens there. Quick look at the chat. It's still going wild. Thank you very much for joining us wherever you are around the world. I want to say hello to my countrymen as well who have refused to sleep because it's 4:13 in the morning in the Philippines and you're all still up joining us. I don't know why you're up here with us, but thank you so much. Maraming salamat. Aaron, I'll let you take it away first. A lot of people are complaining that we don't have the game live, and that is because we don't have the rights for it. This is second screen experience. You guys can check out the details below and figure out where you can watch it wherever you are around the world. But Aaron, what do you think of that half? And oh yes,
Well,
for
first
those
off,
wondering, sorry Aaron, I have to interrupt you. People are wondering if you're wearing pants right now. I can tell you, I am not. I'm wearing the suit and the tie, but we're here to look nice for the parts that you could see. I don't know about you guys, Aaron, but take it away.
I second that motion, Paulo, and I'm sure Mike is able to share along the same sentiments. First off, hello to my countrymen. Matter of fact, I'm in support of Canada and the States. I'm from Canada, Windsor, Ontario. That's why I'm wearing the Rose City jacket today. But to everybody, bienvenue, welcome to the stream. You have the three of us. It's the best of both worlds, I believe, with the second stream experience. But so far, the first 20 minutes has been fast, and I expected it. And gentlemen, think about it. USA averages nearly 107 points per game. They're they're under that average right now because it was at the end of the game, they have 98. And France scoring 41 points. They average around near 80 a game. So it's a fast-paced game, but I expect the defense to tighten up a whole lot, especially if you're France, because in the first quarter, you gave up a lot of fast break opportunities. In the second quarter, you let USA space out offensively, and they were going for the long shots. And even if you met them at the basket, you were drawing fouls, which sent them to the line. So the defense has to change for France, and it has to be consistent too. For USA, I would have to say keep on passing the ball, keep on kicking it out for the extra passes, but defensively, you have to shut down the bigs, whether it be Wembenyama, whether it be Gobert, or whether it be Yabusele, who has been rising to the occasion with some jams off the baseline. But Michael, what do you think after the first 20 minutes of action?
Well, this has been a really, as we expected. I mean, the goal in men's basketball in the Olympics. It doesn't get much better than this, and USA and France have put on a show so far. This is really exactly what I expected. France is sticking around, but USA still controlling the lead really throughout that second quarter. We'll see what happens in the second half. I think USA's depth might start to show a little more in the third quarter, but this has really lived up to the hype. It's been back and forth, but USA take control of the lead. We'll see what happens in the third quarter, but a ton of fun so far.
Yeah, that's right. There's no doubt about that. I just want to quickly go down the road to the gold medal game for both of these teams, gentlemen. We'll start with France. They pulled off the victory against Brazil. I remember I was hosting the watch along for that game, and France, they looked a little shaken at halftime, but they were able to pull through with the 78-66 victory. They beat Japan by 4. And then the last group game, they beat Germany 85-71. And here we are in the tournament phase where they defeated Canada by 9, one of the top games in this year's Olympic Games, and then took care of business against Germany 73-69. And we'll start with Paolo first. When it comes to France, what is it about this team that's really got them to the gold medal game? Because we all know it's not about Victor Wembanyama, even though the spotlight's on him, but there are a plethora of players that help them, especially in that key victory against Canada in the quarterfinals. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I want to say commiserations to all of my friends in Japan because that was a tough, tough loss. I mean, that loss against France, talking about all of my friends from Japan, it was heartbreaking. But I think what France has done well is the fact that they were able to, throughout the entire tournament, they were able to just find a way to really answer every single run. I think defensively, the adaptation was great. I mean, we've seen this French team almost played two different styles of basketball throughout the tournament. You had one wherein they had the double big combination with Gobert and Wembanyama. Then they started splitting up their minutes, and then you're just seeing so many different types of adaptations coming from Coach Vincent Collet, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they continue to adapt, because the adjustments that they're going to make in this halftime break is going to be crucial, considering that at the second quarter we saw Team USA that was scoring more free flowing basketball. We said that France has to slow down Team USA in terms of their scoring if they want a chance to win this. They did that in the first quarter. The second one, a bit more difficult. It's going to be hard to keep up with them offensively, as Michael mentioned. So the adaptation that we've seen in throughout the entire Olympic Games so far for France, we need to see it one more time in the halftime break, going to the third quarter, or else Team USA might go away with this one.
Well, the defense really has to play a key in the final 20 minutes of regulation as they gave up 50% shooting to Team USA. And Michael, the United States of America, their journey has been flawless, to say the least. That's why they're in the gold medal game. Who would have thought? They took care of business against Serbia, won against South Sudan, in which they had a hiccup with before the Olympics started, but they were able to get their revenge by defeating them by 17, beat Puerto Rico, and then in the tournament phase, won against Brazil. And I think one of their only hiccups out of this whole run was against Serbia, in which they won by 4, but you always have to go back to how close that game against Serbia was. Do you think that was a wake-up point for Team USA as they realized that the competition has been more tougher in the last few Olympic Games?
I think it absolutely was a wake up call. I mean, they controlled that game in group play when they beat Serbia, but then when it came to the semifinals, well, they were down 17, like you said, and it took a fourth quarter comeback and 36 points from Steph Curry to win that game. That was not easy for USA. And I would just like to say that the Germany head coach, Gordon Herbert, said, I can quote him on this: sorry to France, but Serbia is the best team we played in the Olympics. End quote there. So Serbia obviously was, I mean, coming in one of the best teams in the Olympics. They had to go through a qualifying tournament, but people knew they would be a threat. And USA saw that in the semifinals, and they realized that they're playing the best of the best in the world. And here against France, they look a lot better. And it's not just Steph Curry shooting the basketball, getting them to this lead. They're using all of their players and playing more as a unit than they did looking like isolation ball against Serbia.
Well, that's right. It feels like a buffet of players. As a friend once told me, you have to finish their food, and it's well-balanced scoring, with the exception of Devin Booker, who is the high man with 13 points. And I'll tell you, it's interesting to see all these players step up, no matter if you watch them in the NBA or the PBA or in League ACB. They all come together for one thing: to represent their country and to win the gold medal game, and there's only 2 teams left for that. For those of you tuning in, this is the watch along on the FIBA YouTube channel, and we do not have the rights to air the game. That's why you see us, but hey, we're glad to have you alongside of the ride. Leave us a comment wherever you may be. Like, comment, and subscribe. We also have the premium membership on YouTube, for which you could partake in for just 99 cents a month. Here are the features: custom badges, avatars, and exclusive Q&A with FIBA experts. So you have all of that and more for just 99 cents a month. So be sure to join in on that. This is Aaron Sanders, Michael Soroti, and Paolo joining us here for the FIBA Watch Along. This has been a good game, gentlemen, but 20 more minutes of action to go, and it has been a good Olympic Games, to say the least. Again, USA leading France 49-41. And one interesting statistic: the last time USA has not won a gold was back in the 2004 games in Athens, Greece, where they placed bronze. So a 20-year streak is on the line for sure. But Paolo, again, France, they have a chance to pull off an upset, even though they're not a team worth of upsets, considering that they have home court advantage. They're pretty close, even though they're down by 8.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned 2004, the last time they did not win a gold medal. I was 14 years old then, and I was like, I remember looking back at that time and thinking like, maybe the world is catching up. And then a lot of people were saying that, I don't know about that. because since then it's obviously been pure dominance for USA. But then remember, they are not infallible. Their record against France is actually not as great as people realize, considering that in the past few years, France has actually beaten Team USA twice, once in the Olympic Games in 2019, rather 2021, and then once in the FIBA Basketball World Cup in China in 2019. So there is a bit of history there, but then we haven't seen a team assembled like this in quite a while. Talking about Team USA, some people might compare them to the Dream Team. I'm not so sure about that. Some people might compare them to the Redeem Team. I'm still not sure about that. But I don't know, Michael. What do you think about all of this? Because again, this Team USA, it's a special group, and I don't know what would happen to this group's legacy, or what you guys would consider this group's legacy is if France pull off an upset here today.
Well, first thing I want to say is I have never been alive for USA men's basketball not winning gold. So that is, I don't want to make anyone feel
Children.
old, but I
You
I was not
children.
born yet when
Right.
USA won bronze. So sorry to do that to you, but looking back on the pre-Michael Cerroti era, I don't think this team is better than the Dream Team. I think that Dream Team still holds the title for best USA team, but this roster gave them a run for their money. This is an all-star filled team. It's nothing like that Dream Team, but this team is still one of the best that USA has ever put together.
Talk about opening up a can of worms if we talk about which USA team is the best. By the way, I turn 30 years old next year, so if you want to know how old I am, I remember watching the 04 games, and I'm wondering, USA isn't at the top this year. But when they took care of business in Beijing in 2008, well, maybe it was a resurgence of America, but nonetheless, the game of basketball is growing internationally, and the rest of the countries have picked up on that. That is for sure. We are just a minute or so away from the start of the second half. Again, for those of you just tuning in, you got a trio commentating on the action and getting you through here in this FIBA watch along with Paulo Del Rosario and Michael Cerroti. Aaron Sanders on hand. And we're just having fun here in this watch-along chat party. So that's right. Bring the chips, bring the dip, and turn the TVs on to us and try to sync it up with the feed, for which, again, we're unable to show you due to copyright reasons. We will not go there, but you're enjoying this as a second screen experience, and I think this experience has been fulfilling for basketball fans around the world. Paolo, you said your fellow countrymen are watching this at, well, nearly 4:30 a.m. in the morning, so it goes to show that basketball is rising up in that area and around the world. So there's no sleep for basketball. Basketball does not sleep at all. It's been an ongoing experience and a growing one for the game of basketball.
Absolutely. I mean, like anyone familiar with basketball, especially in the Philippines, the Philippines have been. We have the second oldest, or probably the oldest pay to play league in the world. I think definitely the oldest one in Asia. We have had that legacy of always playing basketball, and we held the World Cup here just last year. But yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised no one's sleeping from wherever you are around the Philippines, or there be Manila, Cebu, or Davao, or wherever else. I mean, like, guys, go to bed, or I don't know. I mean, like, it's early. Like, I'm here because I was asked to be here. What's your excuse? No, I know you love the game. So yeah, I mean, like, it's really fun. To the fact that we're up for this all the time. It just so happens NBA games normally are at a decent time for us, so it's easy for us to follow all these guys. But yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't be. I'm not that surprised that we have a lot of people from the Philippines watching this also.
Yeah, that's right. We just saw Pau Gasol and Tony Parker meet outside in the crowd. Incidentally, one of my greatest plays that I've seen in the history, well, of my life, was when Justin Brownlee hit that go-ahead championship shot a few years ago in the PBA championship game. So I'll never forget watching that, and my mouth was wide open. I was like, my goodness, a walk-off championship shot? That's unbelievable. So nonetheless, the
Yeah,
game of
I was there,
Philippines is
by
just
the way. I
rising.
was there in the venue.
Oh my goodness. I bet your ears were ringing after that over at the Coliseum.
Yes, it was.
All right, third quarter underway. As we see Team France, they're going to go from right to left. Pull up J is a no-go for number 8, Isaiah Courtenay, and America brings the ball up the floor. We see LeBron running the plays as he sends it out to Curry. That's a long shot, and that is off the mark. And like I said at the beginning, I wasn't expecting Steph Curry to either top his performance of nearly 40 points against Serbia, but at the same time, you have to imagine at this stage of the game, Michael, this is where Steph Curry comes alive, and he has to find a shot before the end of the game as France has the ball.
Yeah, Steph Curry has 6 points. He's 2 of 6 from the field. All his attempts have come from beyond the arc. 36 points in the semifinals. Obviously, tough to beat that, but only 6 points so far. Definitely low for him. So we'll see if he's able to pick it up and if he can find his shot. But after France saw what he did to Serbia, they're guarding him a lot tighter than most people would be, as they're showing all sorts of celebrities in the crowd right now. Carmelo Anthony is on the sideline. Draymond Green just a couple rows up. And USA up by 8.
USA with the lead as Curry feeds it into LeBron. He's at the right block and it sends it into Joel Embiid, who draws the foul. And Paulo, this is a player that a lot of fans were wondering, well, where is his game? I'm talking, of course, about Joel Embiid because it has been an up and down Olympic Games for him, even though he averages around 13 points.
Yeah, we talk about player roles in particular in with regards to any team. We all know what Joel Embiid could do when he plays for the 76ers. He's obviously one of those guys that they play through him, they play with him. Now, Joel Embiid, he's one of those guys who probably needs the ball a bit more compared to other players. But then perhaps he's contributing in ways that don't necessarily show up in the stat sheet in the sense of what he does defensively, especially. But of course, Joel Embiid, people I feel may criticize him simply because they know what he can do if given the permission to operate offensively. As right now, Team USA off to a great start here in quarter number 3.
You talk about trusting the process. Steph Curry steps back for a 3-ball right in front of the bench of Les Bleus to make it 56-43. So we've heard of the broadcasters' jinx so many times as us being broadcasters, but maybe it's the broadcaster's blessing as he steps up into his own element as we have played 2 minutes here in the second half. USA with the lead.
I've
This
never
is the
blessed
gold medal
anyone.
game. Well, maybe so with Steph Curry as Gershon Yazubele gets the layup in to make it 56-45, but you never know what will happen as Yabusele, top man for France, 17 points. So this could be a breakout performance for him, and what better stage to do it than at home and in the gold medal game. Foul underneath as Isaiah Courtenay draws the foul, so Embiid will head back to the line, and if this kind of game continues, Joel Embiid will make the charity stripe his second home. But again, we mentioned, Michael, a plethora of talent for France and Team USA. We mentioned how hard it is to get players some minutes on the floor. Coach Steve Kerr said this is like a math problem, and it's hard to add it up. But when you see players like Joel Embiid step up as he makes the first free throw, you have to imagine this is a team that's becoming more comfortable on the floor, especially in the gold medal game. And you have to think, well, if we could get these players comfortable, maybe we'll see Tyrese Halliburton get a couple of more minutes into the game, or Drew Holiday. It's just a matter of what are you going to do for the next, let's say, 13 or so minutes.
Yeah, well, Joel Embiid, he stepped up in big time in the semifinals, 19 points. And, I mean, you have to feel bad for Joel Embiid. He has just been hearing it from the crowd. The loudest boos I think I've ever heard at basketball games every time he touches the ball. He's a dual citizen of France and America, so the French do not like that he's a part of Team USA, but he's stepped up and now playing well here today against the France team that has a lot of length. So they really did need Joel Embiid. As Drew Holiday, he's gotten some solid minutes today. I don't see Tyrese Halliburton and Derek White getting minutes today. There's just, I mean, if it becomes a blowout, obviously they'll check into the game, but not enough. I don't know what the word is, Not enough go-go from those guys, especially Halliburton. He plays off his teammates. He can score himself, but he really does need those other guys. And for a team that plays a lot of isolation ball, Derek White and Tyrese Halliburton don't really fit the mold to get a ton of minutes.
Tough situation for the Indiana Pacer as we see France driving the ball right down to the rack. 7:12 to go as Yabusele gets the foul on LeBron James. And Bilal Koulibaly checking into the game for Les Bleus. And gentlemen, we all know Bilal Koulibaly as the teammate for Wemby before Wemby got drafted in the NBA. Played for the Metropolitans 92. This is his first Olympic appearance, I should say, in these games as Yabusele hits the first free throw. But think about it. Just because we hear a lot of accolades from the Americans, look at this French roster. We have a player like Evan Fournier, who's played in the NBA for 12 years. Bilal Koulibaly, like we mentioned, the go-to player for Wembanyama in the Metropolitans 92. NBA seasoned veterans like Nicolas Batum and Nando De Colo and Rudy Gobert. I've said this once, I'll say it again. The game of basketball is rising internationally, and France is the country that has been rising in that sport over the last few years. So free throws were made by Yabusele, 58-47 your score, USA ahead. 3 minutes gone by in the third quarter. It's out to Curry, wing three, and he cashes that one in. And we're seeing that little bit of celebration from Chef Curry as he digs in right into his bag, as the kids would say. And now they're leading 61-47. Paolo, that was just a bad scenario for France, leaving Steph Curry wide open as he was able to get to his spot and knock that three down.
Yeah, I take a look at what they ran there, and playing a bit of a zone, it looked like right before that. And that little cross switch up top obviously got Steph Curry free. Yeah, I'm trying to take a look at what Team USA did differently. So, what Team USA did differently is that they started out this third quarter with trying to be more forceful inside, getting Joel Embiid into the free throw line. They only had 2 free throws the entirety of the first half. I mentioned it a while ago. This is a Team USA that hasn't really utilized their size and athleticism in the interior, and they got going through Joel Embiid here in the quarter. Then it kind of opened up the shooters as well, more force inside, and now you have 3-point shooters going to work. One of the changes that France did to try and counter Joel Embiid is that they're now, for the first time, playing the lineup of Rudy Gobert and Victor Wembanyama together, which normally shuts down the paint. But then right now, with that configuration, you have so many shooters opening up already here for Team USA. And that's what Steph Curry just did and showed us here. As I turn it back to you, Aaron.
Thank you very much. And Steph Curry just hit on his 12th point, all of them coming from downtown. And USA as a team has scored 11 three balls off of 24 attempts. That is a total of 46% from outside. As France has the ball, this time it's Nando De Colo who feeds it to Wembanyama, out to Koulibaly. He was able to pick it up before a loose ball. And it's now goes in deep to Wembanyama. He's at the left block trying to go toe-to-toe with Durant, and that gets batted away. And there is a whistle with 6:37 to go. That is a foul on Rudy Gobert. So nonetheless, no harm, no foul for USA, but they have the possession. And we see Rudy Gobert committing, trying to go for the alley-oop, but a little too much elbow on Joel Embiid.
And they got history. Embiid and Gobert. I mean, just take a look back at their times throughout the years in the NBA, and always fun seeing them go at each other. To be honest.
Well, it's just like about 30 or 40 years ago where basketball was known as a big man's game. You see all of that aggression and physicality underneath, and we're seeing that again. That was a technical foul on the American bench as Nando De Colo hits the free throw. But again, it's good to see that physicality when it comes to the 4 and 5 men at the basket again, because there was a time where it was ran by a player like Steph Curry and all the other guards. But now we're seeing the big men doing little men things, shooting threes and then just going into their element and dominating. So that's always good to see. 13-point game. Steph Curry dishes it off to Booker, who almost lost control, but it was last touched by Gobert. Will stay with USA, I believe, as they give the ball out to LeBron James. He'll inbound at 6 seconds on the shot clock. Into Embiid, taken away by Gobert. Nice heads-up play as DeColo steps his way right into the lane. Jump hook off the mark. And let's see who gets it this time. Oh, it's Nando DeColo. DeColo with the screen off of Gobert, and he puts it there. So France breaking the 50-point mark as they are now down 61-51. But now with Kevin Durant getting that fadeaway, it's now 63-51. So now France, they have to find their ways to put the clamps down on the defense, because there's no answers for Kevin Durant, who just got the fadeaway. And it was a little too late for Gershon Yabusele. But, man, it's always tough when you have to guard a guy like Kevin Durant, not only with the length, but he's able to get that shot down with ease as Victor Wembanyama hits the floor. Michael, I'm assuming that if you have to defend Kevin Durant, you're going to have to say a prayer or two, because it's going to take a whole lot more than just putting your hands up to stop this guy who has played for the Thunder, who has played for Brooklyn, and is now playing for the Phoenix Suns. It's a tough task.
Yeah, you really just have to hope for the best with Kevin Durant. But basketball-wise, I think the best way for France to stop him would be a 3-2 zone. The way Kevin Durant scores is usually by stepping into shots. He loves those elbow jumpers and those wing threes. If you play a 3-2 zone, you can guard both elbows and free throw line extended three-pointers, and then you just have Wembanyama and Yabusele down low maybe, or maybe you put Wembanyama up top to stick his hands up and allow Kevin Durant less space to elevate for those shots. So we'll see if France goes into a zone defense. Right now it's still man, and it's allowing some easy looks for KD.
That's right, as we see feed into Wembanyama, who's looking for Gobert, but it was last tapped by, I believe, Embiid. But nonetheless, France will have 8 seconds to work with on the shot clock. Again, taking a look at the stats for both of these teams. Team USA shooting 47%, or 52%, my mistake. France shooting 47%, a little bit of a mix-up, but that happens sometimes. Again, good shooting performance for both of these teams, Paolo, but one of these teams will have to break through. It's been pretty close despite the 12-point lead for Team USA.
Yeah, you talk about the percentages here. Here for Team USA, they have already attempted 45 shots here in this one, while France have also equal to that. I mean, like, you have to take a look right now where the difference is in terms of their scoring. And France at the moment have only hit 4 3-pointers, so they're getting most of their baskets inside. Talking about the French Team USA, letting the math do the work. There's a reason why 3 is more than 2. And 11 3-pointers made here for Team USA is really the reason why they're up by this margin. Their 3-point shooting has been more on point here, now shooting at 46%. It was down a bit a while ago, talking about Team USA, and that's really where it really opened things up, because the 3-point baskets of the Team USA really allowed the lanes to open here, because France has had a hard time containing the 3-ball, especially in the second half.
Well, they have a hard time containing LeBron James as he went down for the two-handed sledgehammer, and the USA bench raising the roof. It's at 65-53 now, as Victor Wembanyama continues to slice into that lead with the 3-ball. So Wembanyama with the un de trois, Nando DeColo with the assist, and we are at 65-56 USA. This is the gold medal watch-along on the FIBA YouTube channel. We thank you for joining us as a timeout is called by USA. And Michael, we're seeing Team USA showing no match for Victor Wembanyama as he was able to get that easy 3 thanks to that Nando DeColo assist.
With all the superstars that USA have, they still have no answer for Victor Wembanyama. This guy is pretty much impossible to guard. He's 7'3", maybe taller than that, but that's what he's listed at. And he plays like a point guard. He can step out and shoot. He just made a 3-pointer. He can get to the rim in basically one step. And Victor Wembanyama just causes problems for opposing defenses so easily. He's averaging a double double, which leads me into the conversation of MVP. Is it Victor Wembanyama? Probably not, but he's in the race, especially for All Star 5. So I don't want to get into it too much, but if you guys want to talk MVP or All Star 5, Victor Wembanyama's name definitely has to be thrown into the mix.
Well, Victor's in there for me, and LeBron is in there for the All-Star 5. Paolo, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean LeBron's there, Jokic, Wembanyama, by virtue of the fact that they're doing what they're doing here in this particular Olympic cycle. You also got to look at guys like how are we going to consider Giannis because of his individual play? Are we going to consider well Shea probably is going to make it as well. Gilgis Alexander from Team Canada, and as well as probably Dennis Schroeder. Someone's going to be disappointed. That's all I'm going to say. Someone's going to be disappointed because there are a lot of great choices here for the All Star 5.
Paolo De Rosario joining me alongside Michael Cerroti, Aaron Sanders in this watch along. What do you guys think in the live chat? Let us know who you think your All-Star 5 and MVP might be at the end of the game. I'll tell you one thing, gentlemen. It's a good thing that we don't have to make the decision for that. We just wait until the end of the game to find out the official decision, but it can go to anybody as it's a 9-point game with about 3:30 to go in the third quarter. And Steph Curry stepped on the line, so it's France ball as they move it ahead. Nando De Colo, the well-seasoned NBA veteran, trying to work his way from Jason Tatum. Nice pick. That sets it up for Evan Fournier. Up top, Gobert looking for the alley-oop, but little beyond his reach as LeBron comes up with it on the far side. Here's Drew Holiday pulling up, and he misses. That goes in and out. Heartbreak City, as it's still 65-56, USA ahead. Evan Fournier, a player who averages 10.2 points in these Olympics, as the three ball goes down for him. So Fournier for three makes it 65-59. Two-possession game, anything could happen as France connects on their sixth three here in the gold medal games. Under 3 to go. The watch along here on the FIBA YouTube channel. LeBron pulls up and he drops it. So it's game time, and LeBron James knows a thing or two for stepping up in that element. Tatum with a personal foul. Gobert drew it, and we see USA and France matching up with their substitutions. Courtenay checking in for Koulibaly, and Edwards in for Steph Curry. We'll see how that works as Evan Fournier gets the easy layup as Nando De Colo now dishing out the assist. And Michael, Nando De Colo, yes, he may have not scored a lot of points, but believe it or not, he's becoming a catalyst for France here in the third quarter with those nifty dishes.
37-year-old Nando De Colo, he brings so much experience and leadership to Team France. He plays his professional basketball in France. He was in the NBA from 2012 to 2014, so he knows what it's like to play against this talent. But like you said, providing a spark, that's what you can bring when you have this much experience on a pretty young France team.
And the turnover causes the ball to bounce back to France's side. Incidentally, Nando De Colo and Victor, they both played for the San Antonio Spurs, even though at different times. De Colo played in the early 2010s, and Wembanyama playing for the Spurs now, the Rookie of the Year. So it's interesting. You have that San Antonio connection one way or another. Kevin Durant is in for LeBron James. That's going to be a bold move for Coach Steve Kerr. But we'll see how that works as the pull-up jumper doesn't go for Courtenay. And Edwards try to bounce back, but Anthony Davis is there for the layup to make it 70-61. Now, this is a player that could have a good game or an off game, but Anthony Davis, he's been consistent, averaging nearly 10 points a game into this tournament as he sails in for the tip-in, Paolo.
Yeah, I like Anthony Davis simply because he is one of those type of guys that he does not necessarily need to be the star guy to be effective. He is able to do his job defensively, become be a gravity guy in terms of offense, no matter what, and it also sets good picks. Just great fundamentals. I mean, I like his game. especially playing alongside stars. He knows how to fit in properly in systems like this. And at the same time, can I just say, I want to give credit to Nando De Colo because he's doing a lot of work here. And he's one of the few players of France who are actually older than me. So I appreciate you, Nando. I see you.
37 years old, Nando De Colo, taking bumps, going for the passes. Courtenay drew the foul. That is on Anthony Davis. And the best way to beat USA is you go on the fast break and you meet their bigs at the rack, and hopefully they get into foul trouble. And as we talk about the foul trouble, Anthony Davis picking up that foul, and he has picked up, well, only his first, believe it or not. Devin Booker has 3 personal fouls, LeBron with 2, along with Tatum. So those fouls will definitely become a factor as we approach the final stages of this gold medal game. Free throw off the mark for Courtenay. And if you want to talk about Courtenay's game, listen to this resume so far. Currently plays in Italy, was the Euro Cup champ in 2022, 2-time Italian Super Cup champion. Last year was the French Second League champion. All this before making his first Olympic appearance this year. So it goes to show you can have a lot of accolades before the Olympics, but I think after this game, gentlemen, and we'll talk with Michael, there's going to be a lot of eyes on Isaiah Courtenay as we approach a minute and 10 to go.
Well, there were eyes on him early in his career. He was the 44th overall pick in 2016. He's averaging 10.6 points per game. Him and Gershon Yabusele have been the most surprising to me for Team France. They're 2 guys with some NBA experience, not anything like a lot of these other guys have, but they're bringing eyes right back to them as Kevin Durant and Anthony Edwards connect on an alley-oop. But going back to those 2 players, especially Courtenay, bring eyes back to them from the Olympics.
And that's right, and we see Evan Fournier going for a step-back triple, and it is 72-64. Nando De Colo again, the silent assassin providing the assist. He's really stepping into his game as it's an 8-point lead for USA as we approach the final few seconds. And now we see Nando De Colo getting a bucket. So after supplying all those nifty passes, he finally gets a bucket to go to end the first quarter. Gentlemen, the score 72-66 as we approach the fourth quarter. And we'll take a look at some of the team stats because they're going to become crucial one way or another. There has been a total of 10 lead changes in one time in this game where we have a tie ball game. Both of these clubs shooting around the high 40s, low 50s. USA shooting 52% from the field. But France, being wise on their shot choices, Paulo, shooting 48% at the end of the third quarter. What has changed from them since they approached their clubhouse at halftime?
Yeah, I mean, focusing on Team USA offensively, what they've done different. Again, at the start of the quarter, I felt like they were able to really put more pressure at the rim, thereby freeing up their shooters. You saw France scramble a lot defensively with the ball movement of Team USA as well as the drives that they've made. That has always been what I felt one of the bigger changes there. They got to the free throw line early in the quarter through Embiid in particular. I can't stress enough how important I felt that those few minutes were. For France, on the other hand, it just felt like they have found a way to get one. They're shooting down. Their 3-point shooting has improved at the tail end of the third quarter. And at the same time, you also have Nando De Colo and a lot of the effort plays working. Evan Fournier, who was scoreless, I believe, before this third quarter, all of a sudden reminding us that he is part of this team and really putting Team USA in notice. It is only a 6-point lead going into the fourth.
And a highlight player again for France, De Colo, well, in the third quarter, 8 points, 3 assists. He was able to get that bucket off the goaltend at the buzzer, so they counted it. And Michael on Team USA's side, well, I'm seeing a lot of comments in the live chat saying this is Steph Curry's quarter, but he has 12 points, all of them coming from three-point land. Do we expect the fourth quarter to be the Steph Curry show for the Americans?
Personally, I do not. I think it'll actually turn into the LeBron James show. I think LeBron is going to be hungry to win this gold medal. Steph Curry obviously will be too, but against Serbia, LeBron got angry after Bogdan Bogdanovic did the Carmelo Anthony celebration, 3 to his head. So I think something will fire up LeBron going into this fourth quarter, and I think it'll be his quarter to win for USA.
And LeBron is flirting with the triple-double right now, 12 points. He has 7 assists and 6 rebounds. We have seen in the last couple of days 2 triple-double performances, one of them coming from Team USA, I believe, and we just saw Nikola Jokic with a triple-double in that bronze medal game against Germany. So it's a matter of time to see who will step up here in the final 10 minutes of play. USA shooting 52% from the field. France shooting 48%. I do want to mention USA averages around 56% when it comes to shooting per game. France shooting 45% in these Olympics. But you could throw those stats out the window. These 10 minutes matter more than what you could think. France starts with the ball here in the fourth quarter, and what could be the biggest game in the national team history for Les Bleus. Home court advantage, gold medal game. Oh, it's on. It's on now as Nicolas Batum checks in for Courtenay. So we see the veteran checking right in. Maybe the veteran leadership will pay off, but we will see. So again, 6-point game. This is the watch along on the FIBA YouTube channel as Wemby misses the 3 and Durant gets that pass. But the foul. And again, if I'm Team USA, I would start dishing it out to the bigs. France did that earlier at the beginning of the game, gentlemen, with Victor Wembanyama and Rudy Gobert. And now USA may give them a taste of their own medicine as Anthony Davis goes into town for a jam. And I remember one of you guys said that Anthony Davis could be one of those guys that could step up into the paint. And Paolo, when you get those easy feeds off of a miss like AD just did for that jam, that could be troublesome for France. As we saw their defense, they were spaced out around the perimeter. That's not good.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at the fact that they do crash the offensive board. Some about Team USA. The worry is that as you crash the offensive boards, you take a look at some of the numbers here. 9 offensive rebounds already for Team USA. Second chance points, they actually do trail this. They only have 11 second chance points compared to 14. I think what's impressive here for Team USA is that they're able to crash the offensive rebounds and yet limit the transition baskets of France. 8 fast break points only for France here in this game. 29 for Team USA, as I mentioned a while ago. If you're France, you got to take advantage of one or the other. If they do crash the boards, you have to find a way to score on the break, especially if you can get the numbers in transition. But Team USA just doing a good job in transition and at the same time applying enough pressure to get second chance points on the board here.
That's right, and Matthias Lesort soars in for the jam, so that was off a second chance opportunity too. France with 14 second chance now. It is 74-68. We played nearly a minute and 30 here in the fourth quarter as we see Kevin Durant hit a triple from the center side. So it's 77-68. Drew Holiday with the assist. And he is an underrated force for Team USA, Drew Holiday, as Fournier drives in for a shot. That's off the mark as Anthony Davis met him there. And we have a foul on Koulibaly as Devin Booker is the one that draws a foul. And again, when it comes to Devin Booker, Michael, he could do pretty much anything, but a player of his stature, he could do anything. He could dive for the loose balls. He could go for those easy shots, but we haven't seen much of him in the Olympic Games despite him shooting around 11 points per game and 56% from the field. So I guess that has to go to him trying to adapt to the international game.
Yeah, well, you said Devin Booker can do anything. Not only that, Devin Booker will do anything. And that's what makes him such a valuable piece to a team, because one of the things he can do and will do is see his role go down. He will play less minutes if it means his team will win. And that's one of the things I really like about Devin Booker being on this USA team. Obviously, a really talented guard, and he's seen his role increase from the 2020 Olympics, where he averaged less than 10 points per game. But he's fine not playing as many minutes as LeBron and Kevin Durant. He doesn't need to be the star player, but he can still fulfill his role, and he has done that for Team USA.
Well, sometimes those sacrifices work out for the better. I mean, with this being a team sport and USA's prestige and everything, he understood the assignment as Matthias Lesort heads to the line and splits the pair of free throws and make it 77-69 USA. So we played nearly 2 minutes into this game here on YouTube. This is the watch along alongside Paulo De Rosario and Michael Soroti. Aaron Sanders on hand. We want to ask you, those who are tuning in the live chat, who do you think will be the MVP for the entire Olympics? Let us know. Again, due to copyright reasons, we do not have the stream, but you have us. And sometimes, in most cases, 3 heads are better than 1. So we give you the action from our point of view. Drew Holiday nearly avoiding the travel. Kevin Durant playing a game of bumper cars with Matthias Lesort. So talk about a battle of big men right there as the shot clock was winding down. And with that, Steph Curry is in for Kevin Durant. So USA losing some depth, Paulo, but they're gaining a sharpshooter in Steph Curry. This could be his 4th quarter. Who knows?
I mean, like, if you're subbing out Kevin Durant for Steph Curry, I mean, like, are you really complaining? I mean, like, you take a look at the firepower that you're replacing with, you're just replacing Kevin Durant with one of the best shooters ever. As I was talking about him, though, Drew Holiday hits a 3-pointer here for Team USA to make it 80-69 with 7:02 left here in this one. But then, yeah,
Well,
just we talk about the astounding depth here of Team USA. It feels like they can replace anyone with everyone, and the production won't go down.
that's right. And the steal from Nicholas Batum. Again, that NBA veteran knows his way around the international game of the NBA game. He could adapt really well. There's the shot that is off the mark. 80-69. Gold medal game. This is a rematch of the gold medal game back in the 2020 Olympics. As Wembanyama heads to the line, that's a foul on Davis, and Wembanyama misses the first free throw. Of course, for France, all eyes on them. They are the host team, and Wembanyama has the spotlight along with all these great players. And Michael, they have done a significant job here in the Olympic Games. I mean, looking at their team stats, shooting nearly 80 points per game, nearly 37 rebounds per game. And for a lot of basketball fans, when they hear 45% from the field, it's kind of hit or miss. But I always believe when you shoot in the mid 40s and the high 40s, it's not a bad shooting performance for a game. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think if you're above 40%, you're in a good spot. Especially, I mean, you're playing against the best of the best in the world. You're playing on a smaller court. You're playing in a shorter game. So I think above 40% in the Olympics is a very solid mark.
And that's right. We are approaching the 6-minute mark here in the game. Bam Adebayo in for Anthony Davis. Yabusele in for Wembanyama as Drew Holiday misses the 3-ball. Still a 10-point game. And again, somebody's asking, are we wearing the full suit or just the top? And I believe Paulo helped answer that question. I'm wearing shorts. I know that. And gentlemen, I don't know. What do you have to say about that?
Well, my top half is ready to call this game. My bottom half is ready to play in this game with the gym shorts on.
There you go. And Paulo, is it business up top for you too?
I'm taking off the coat and going straight to bed right after this. I don't know about you guys. I mean,
Well, that's right.
That just goes to show what's happening.
You are a trooper, sir, at 5 a.m. in the morning in the Philippines as James goes to town for the two-handed jam and Bilal Koulibaly answering back. It is 82-72. The game of basketball rising around the world, and you're tuning in to see the watch-along of the gold medal game. If you want to watch the feed of this game, we have a link in the description to tell you where you could watch it on the streaming apps, devices, and wherever you may be. So glad that you're tuning in and joining the game alongside with us. We are halfway in the 4th quarter. And it's an 8-point game as we see some changes coming up. Nando De Colo checking in for Evan Fournier. Kevin Durant in for LeBron James. So Durant taking a few minutes off the floor and taking over LeBron James's spot. And this is going to be an important 5 minutes for both France and USA. But Paulo, France is running out of time. They're down by 8. Yes, anything could happen, but what do they have to do to put the clamps down on USA and pull off what could be one of the biggest shockers in Olympic men's basketball history?
Well, I think the thing that's working out for them here is they're actually forcing a lot of turnovers. 15 turnovers again for Team USA. I mean, like they have to temper how aggressive they are in terms of forcing turnovers to actually ending possessions in one go. Team USA does crash the board, so they have to be able to secure those defensive rebounds and end possessions immediately. They cannot afford any more second chance points, and at the same time, they have to limit the turnovers in their end. In other words, just keep it simple and try and limit the amount of shots that Team USA actually put up in the last 4:15. That's still a lot of time. And you just got to be efficient with them and make sure that the amount of shots that the Team USA gets up is at a manageable number.
And more substitutions. Michael LeBron in for Drew Holiday. France has Wembanyama back in for Matthias Lessort. So for France's case, more length, more depth, of course. And for USA, that veteran leadership. And this is where LeBron James pretty much seizes the moment. This is going to be an interesting matchup here in the last 4 minutes and 15 seconds.
I think it's time for LeBron James to take over this game, but I was about to say what France has to do in the closing 4 minutes. The first step is putting Wembanyama back on the floor. He's leading the team with 21 points, so they already did that first step. But Wemby is really doing his thing today offensively. He's scoring in so many different ways, but LeBron James is going to be tough to stop. He's got the gold sneakers on. He's not going to settle for anything less.
Apparently, those are the new LeBron 22s. So a sneak preview of those shoes. The high man for France, Wembanyama, 21 points for USA. They're being led. Well, it's a well-balanced scoring, but LeBron has 14 points. He's 2 assists and 4 rebounds away from a triple-double. Durant with 13, along with Booker and Stephen Curry with 12 points. And again, for Curry's case, all of those 12 points came from beyond the arc as Nando De Colo adds 2 more to make it 82-76. And we see Nando deliver some nice assists in the third quarter, but in the dying moments of the third quarter, we see him score. So he's getting right up there in the scoreboard in these final few moments as LeBron is going to go to the line for 2 free throws. That's a foul on Yabusele. And Yabusele,
Actually, that is
Michael,
a
one of those
foul
plays.
on LeBron.
Glad you cleared that up. Thank you. Thank you very much. But now, France, they're down by 2 possessions, and a player like Yabusele, he has 19 points, Paolo. And I think we mentioned at the top of this broadcast, Yabusele, the second best scorer for France. He could step up too, and if he does, that could cause some trouble for USA because he could really attack the basket.
Yeah, no, he stepped up for sure. Right now, split his free throws, making it an 82-77 game. This is a very winnable game for France. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like Team USA is still heavy favorites, but then Yabusele playing out of his mind, 20 points so far in this game. Nando De Colo has already hit double-digit scoring with 10. Victor Wembanyama obviously leading way with 21. But then Evan Fournier has 8 as well, and you never know who can come up here for the French. They're not going down without a fight, not on their home crowd.
Well, they're playing with a vengeance. A handful of this France roster won silver back in the 2020 games. So they're definitely playing with revenge on their mind as the tip-in goes down for people. 82-79 your score. Now we're down to a 1-possession game where it matters the most. The gold medal game as Victor Wembanyama is able to get that tip in. But look who's knocking on the door. It's good old Steph Curry, who is able to make it 85-79. So a lot of players stepping up here in the fourth quarter. And it could belong to anybody. This game could go to anybody. It could go to Stephen Curry. It could go to LeBron. It could go to Wembanyama. just all stars just coming out here on the international stage. The watch along. We have a lot of viewers checking in too. And last I checked, oh my, nearly 10,000 people watching, gentlemen, along with nearly 1,500 likes. So like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you're seeing so far, as the curtain is set to close down on what has been a terrific Summer Olympics and men's basketball competition. 3-ball off the mark for Wembanyama. And that is a personal foul. 2:22 left. How many of you live chat are sweating right now? It's been pretty close.
Seems like
I think
a
this
lot.
has overtones. Isn't that the truth? Michael, this has overtones of the Serbia-USA semifinals game. That's how close it is.
Yeah, this is, I mean, not that close because France hasn't led since early in the second quarter, I believe. USA has controlled the lead, but it is getting close. They do make it 8 here, just over 2 minutes to go, but we've got more than 10,000 people checking in. First time we've had 3 hosts on a FIBA watch along, and guys, I'd say it's going pretty well, and we got a good game to do it.
Now, you better believe it. 86-79, that is your score with a couple of minutes to go. And I'm sure this game will go down as one of the top games in the Paris 2024 Olympics. Timeout called by France. And as we approach the final moments of this game, Paolo, if your team France, especially Vincent Collet, let's go into his mind a little bit. What are you doing the moment you get the ball? Do you give it to Wembanyama, or do you expect a player like Yabusele to dart right to the basket and take over?
I think you got to see what you're getting first from Team USA defensively. If they're sat in the zone, or if they're gonna go play man, probably gonna go play man. But at the same time, they had a lot of success driving in to the basket using Yabusele and Nando De Colo to apply pressure. Then you have Victor Wembanyama rolling in. I mean, you need to score quickly. I think that's without doubt. You need to score within like 10 seconds of your possession just to keep on the pressure up. Because right now, it's a 5-0 run here for Team USA. It took them literally 20 seconds to go on that 5-0 run. And every second that France wastes here in terms of not scoring is going to make it a bit more difficult for them against USA here towards the end.
These fans are really getting rowdy.
Well, it is a
Flashlights
close game.
are on, flags are waving.
That's for sure, as it's 87-79 as we wind down the final few minutes. Man,
well, here we go, guys, because again, remember, just score early. That's what you need to do if you're France. And you keep within 6 if you get a 2.
Plenty of time left, too. You can make it a 2-possession game. Behind the back dribble, spot up jumper. Well, that goes down. And man alive, here we are, 90-84. 90-84 is the score as Nicholas Batum pulls up for the 3. Again, the gold medal game, you never know what will happen from this game, but you just have to watch it. You get to see the magic in everything as we approach 10,000 live views right now.
Batum's 3 was an answer to Steph Curry's, and Curry's fired up.
And this is what you like to see in the game of basketball. This is for all the marbles. Again, we're doing this from around the world. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and as I say, that 2-possession game, but then Steph Curry, he's cooking.
Chef
Curry is in the kitchen.
This is not an appetizer. This is the main event. Man alive, gentlemen. It is 93-84. A minute and 18 to go. Had a little bit of a lag. That's why I was silent there. But, you know, these things happen when you do this live. So, Michael, I see Joel Embiid saying it's time to put this to bed. Oh man, like the reactions are limitless when it comes to this. Unbelievable.
And Steph Curry's
Yeah,
reaction too. He was loving it.
Steph Curry, I think he's hit what, three pointers in this quarter already? I believe,
He's got
yeah,
7 in
around
the game.
three pointers.
And I think it took him
Yeah,
to
no,
get into his element.
Yeah, I mean, like Steph Curry. Oh, but then take a look at this. France really not giving up, able to answer back in a way.
Well, think about it. With those second and third chance opportunities, you knew that was going to come as Wimbiana delivers on that three, 93-87, as Batum comes up with the assist. Steph Curry back in for Drew Holiday, 54 seconds to go. And all it takes for Steph Curry is just to rest for what? 30 seconds or a minute, and he gets right back in there. So anything goes here. Crucial situation. And Victor Wembanyama doing a good job. As young as he is in a global stage, man alive, he's going to be an outstanding player in the future, especially playing for the San Antonio Spurs. And as I say that, Steph Curry just capping it off, most likely with a fadeaway three ball.
Yeah, that's the dagger, guys. That's a dagger.
He's double teamed.
Wow.
That's over a double team.
Wow. Sorry, Steph Curry.
He
put
this
up.
one to bed.
He put up. I'm gonna try and count how many. In 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, he's hit 1, 2, 3. He's hit 4 3-pointers in 2 minutes. To really pull USA away, because I don't think there's any way France can come back from that. But Steph Curry, to everyone saying that Steph Curry was a guy going to step up, yeah, he stepped up in a big way here.
Well, I remember Michael saying it could be the LeBron James show in the fourth quarter, but man.
I was wrong. Yeah, Steph Curry took over this game.
He's letting the French crowd know with 16 seconds to go. He just put a bow on it. It's an early Christmas present, folks. He just put a bow on this gold medal game, 98-87, and there's nothing more France could do but get a quick shot off and hope for a full court pressure. But it's pretty much too little, too late, as Steph Curry able to come up with the steal. And I think it's safe to say it's close to call it. But USA, undefeated since taking bronze in 2004, and they've been able to bounce back with a vengeance. We've seen the Redeem team, we've seen the 2012 team, the 2016 team, and they were able to claim it once again. So, final seconds tick away with 3 seconds to go, but it doesn't matter, folks. Red, white, and blue sees gold again as the United States of America claims another gold against France. Second verse, same as the first gentleman, 98-87. Paolo, get us through the game stats because there's a whole lot to talk about, especially that Steph Curry performance again in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's just take a look at some of the numbers here from beyond the arc for Team USA. They shot at 50% here. There was a point where Steph Curry actually started the game 0 of 4 from beyond the arc. Well, we forgot about that now. Steph Curry shot 8 of 12 from beyond the arc. That's 67%. Good for 24 points. He was not the leading scorer by any stretch of the imagination going towards the fourth quarter. And all of a sudden, here he is, top scoring Team USA, capping off a 36 points performance against Serbia with a 24-point masterpiece here against France. It was an incredible last 2 minutes for Steph Curry. And my goodness, I mean, if people are wondering if they had a hard time getting to this gold medal, we have to commend France, though, because up until the last 2.5 minutes or so, we thought they had a chance. It was a possession away. It's just Steph Curry turned nuclear. and it changed everything.
It was a three-course meal as Chef Curry delivered the damage. Michael, Victor Wembanyama was the high man for France with 26 points, but you have to be impressed on how Gershon Yabusele performed because he was a walking bucket too.
Yeah, I mean, France has a lot to be proud of. This silver medal in front of the home crowd is really, uh, they'll be happy with it. France is a team that has won three medals all time. They've all been silver, the last of which came in 2020. So they can now add a fourth silver medal into their collection. And it's one that they'll be proud of. Victor Wembanyama, impressive today, and the entire Olympics, as was Gershon Yabusele. Through 6 games, he was really impressive. I would like to add that I had over 10,000 live viewers watch me say it would not be the Steph Curry quarter. I was just a little bit off, and he finished with 24 points, 8 3-pointers. That was a masterclass, and you can put the debate away if you were having it. Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time.
Well, I guess it's safe to say this is just a perfect exhibition of what international basketball is all about, and the whole world
Yep.
was able to see it. As we put the wraps on this, first off, Paulo, we'll get to you first with your final words because I know you have to go to bed. It's what, almost 5:30 a.m. over in the Philippines, but what is your take on the men's basketball portion of the Olympics this year?
Yeah, I mean, like, do you have to say people look on paper, Team USA probably brought out their strongest lineup, and as you know, despite the final score says it's, I know it's an 11-point win, it's a double-digit win. I do believe world basketball is starting to catch up little by little to USA's dominance because it did not feel like it was. There was a chance for France to take this win. There was a chance that Serbia would have won in the semifinals. I think that the entire men's basketball tournament was amazing for the talent that it did showcase, and it gets me much more excited for what's going to happen in LA 2028. So we'll find out how the rest of the world manages to catch up to Team USA, and could they actually potentially upset USA in the United States? That's a question that I am dying to find out if that is going to be a distinct possibility. But it should be fun. Thank you very much for having me, and gentlemen, for convincing me to wear a suit at 5 o'clock in the morning or at 3 o'clock in the morning. Chef Curry said night night. He directed that to all of his Asian fans because we gotta go to bed. And I really appreciate you guys for having me, and this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun too. Michael Cerroti, in 4 years, the Olympics are going to be in our neck of the woods, LA, so somewhere in the West Coast. But again, a quick take on what we've just witnessed here today and in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, in 4 years we'll have no time zone issues, but these Olympics were a ton of fun, especially with men's basketball. I mean, what a tournament. Sorry to Paolo for bringing up the time zones because he'll still have the troubles with the Olympics in the United States. But I mean, these Paris Olympics, so much fun, so much talent was seen on the court. And really just a thank you to FIBA for giving me the opportunity to cover these games because they were a blast. And USA caps it off with a Steph Curry masterclass and a gold medal.
And one word to cap this all up, magnifique, magnificent for Paris to put this all together. And again, like Michael said, a big thank you for the FIBA crew for having us alongside what could go down one of the best watch-alongs with USA taking France in the gold medal game by the final score of 98-87. It has been a thrill. It has been an honor and a privilege to work alongside great gentlemen like you guys and the folks around behind FIBA. You have done a terrific job. And to all the fans, you've witnessed something special, and we hope to do it again really soon. Be sure to continue the support of international basketball. Subscribe to FIBA on the YouTube page and around social media. Don't be a stranger. They're not that hard to find. The game of basketball continues, but right now, USA is on top with gold. And now for Paulo De Rosario and Michael Cerroti, this be Aaron Sanders signing off from the FIBA Watch-Along and the Paris 2024 Olympics. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you again soon.
Good game,
Gentlemen, a
boys.
privilege.